Hey, so today we're going to be learning about the International Space Station. This is a really interesting topic, and I think you're going to have some really cool discoveries today. So the first thing you're going to do is click on this video link, which you've already done, and then we're going to read about the International Space Station. Here's a little advice. When you get done reading this article, I'm going to ask you to have some questions about the International Space Station, things that I did not answer in the article. So things you might still be wondering, things that, maybe you learned this fact, but now, well, what about this? Or I really wonder how they do this. Any question is fair game. So while I'm reading to you, be thinking about questions you have. You may even want to jot one down. Maybe you want to pause the article while I'm reading it to you, and then maybe write it down on a piece of paper or something like that. All right, so here we go. What is the International Space Station? The International Space Station is a large spacecraft. It orbits around Earth. It is a home where astronauts live. The space station is also a science lab. Many countries worked together to build it. They also work together to use it. The space station is made of many pieces. The pieces were put together in space by astronauts. The space station's orbit is about 220 miles above Earth. NASA uses the station to learn about living and working in space. These lessons will help NASA explore space. How old is the space station? The first piece of the International Space Station was launched in 1998. A Russian rocket launched that piece. After that, more pieces were added. 2 years later, the station was ready for people. The first crew arrived on November 2nd, 2000. People have lived on the space station ever since. Over time, more pieces have been added. NASA and its partners around the world finished the space station in 2011. How big is the space station? The space station is as big inside as a house with 5 bedrooms. It has 2 bathrooms, a gymnasium, and a big bay window. 6 people are able to live there. It weighs almost 1,000,000 pounds. It is big enough to cover a football field, including the end zones. It has science labs from the United States, Russia, Japan, and Europe. The space station has many parts. The parts are called modules. The first module had parts needed to make the space station work. Astronauts also lived in these modules. Modules, called nodes, connect parts of the station to each other. Labs on the space station let astronauts do research. On the sides of the space station are solar arrays. These arrays collect energy from the sun. They turn sunlight into electricity. Robot arms are attached outside. The robot arms help to build the space station. They also can move astronauts around outside and control science experiments. Airlocks on the space station are like doors. Astronauts use them to go outside on spacewalks. Docking ports are like doors too. The ports allow visiting spacecraft to connect to the space station. New crews and visitors enter the station through the docking ports. Astronauts fly to the space station on the Russian Soyuz. The crew members use the ports to move supplies onto the stations. Why is the space station important? The space station is home in orbit. People have lived in space every day since the year 2000. The space station's labs are where crew members do research. The research could not be done on Earth. Scientists study what happens to people when they live in space. NASA has learned how to keep a spacecraft working for a long time. These lessons will be important in the future. NASA has a plan to send humans deeper into space than ever before. The space station is one of the first steps. NASA will use lessons from the space station to get astronauts ready for the journey ahead. So the next thing you need to do is write 3 questions, one in each box, that you have about the International Space Station that I didn't tell you about in the article. So things that you are wondering, things that you have questions about. Why is this? Or how does this happen? Or when is this? Or where is this? Any of those things are fair game. I just need 3 questions that you have that you're wondering. The next thing you're going to do then is watch this really super cool video clip. Okay? There's a lady that's up in the space station and she's going to show you all of the things you do. It's called How Do Astronauts Live, Eat, Sleep, and Go to the Bathroom in Space. So it is a promising video. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. So here's the thing. When you are watching that, I want you to be thinking about 3 facts that you learned. Any facts are fine, even if they're funny facts. You know how I love that. When you're done watching the video, I want you to write those 3 facts in these boxes, one in each box. The last thing you're going to do, which I think is the best opportunity for you today, is any 2 questions you still have. that have not been answered by the video or the article, I want you to Google them and find out the answers to them. So what you will do is you'll write your question in the box under question 1, then you'll Google it and find the answer to it. You'll write another question under question 2, and then you'll get to answer question number 2. So this is all on you. You have been asking me all kinds of questions about space. Now you can look up the answers to 2 different questions that you still have about space and the International Space Station. I hope you enjoy this because I can't wait to hear what your questions are. Have a great day.